Right now, on to the point. The power to open new homeless shelter sites may be up to one man in Sacramento. Is it a good idea? Law enforcement warns of phone scammers pretending to be police. The 3 things you can do to keep your family safe. And COVID nasal drops are showing promise.
Good evening. This is To the Point. I'm Alex Bell. One man might soon hold all the power to open new homeless shelter sites in Sacramento. City Council will soon decide if the city manager will have that authority. Our Jeannie asks if that's a good idea.
Meeting after meeting, Sacramento's City Council has been trying to find quick solutions to fix the homeless crisis. And on Tuesday, Councilmember Katie Valenzuela is hoping we'll be that much closer.
This is by far the top priority concern for all residents in Sacramento, housed and unhoused. So I think it's really exciting that we're talking about taking a real step to scale the model.
Mayor Darrell Steinberg proposes ordinance that would authorize City Manager Howard Chan the ability to choose and open new shelter sites without the permission from council members. On top of that, he would be able to spend up to $5 million to implement new safe ground sites.
Ultimately to help people get housing and get the services they need, but using safe ground and shelter as interim solutions.
Councilmember Valenzuela believes current sweeps are not effective and having safe ground sites will be a long-term and effective solution.
The safe sites here in our city have been 3 times more effective at getting chronically unhoused people off of the street and into the next step, whether it's treatment or shelter or housing.
But for community advocates like Bob Erlenbush, he is concerned the city manager won't have the best interest in mind for the unhoused.
The city council shouldn't shirk their responsibility by just handing it over to the city manager.
During last week's city council meeting, Mayor Steinberg had a list of questions regarding this decision. Some of those questions: are city and county officials working together on outreach? How many people are enrolled in services? And if there were any arrests? Erlenbush says answering these questions is critical.
The community and the city council members need answers to those questions before they move ahead and grant the city manager the authority.
Jeannie joins us now. And Jeannie, you spoke to police about this. Explain why.
Well, I asked the Sacramento Police Department if they're going to be at this meeting tomorrow, and a spokesperson, reached out back to me and said that they will be there, but they're not going to comment on this because, ultimately they are the ones responsible for enforcement. Now, the city manager is responsible for a lot of departments, including the Sacramento Police Department. We reached out to his office today, and the city manager says to ask if the city manager has the bandwidth to take on another big task. However, his spokesperson told me that he doesn't want to get ahead of city council and refused an interview. Of course, Alex, as you know, we will be at that meeting tomorrow to see how the city council and the city manager will respond.
Yeah, and if you have something that you want us to ask while we're at City Council, make sure you text us at 916-321-3310. Jeannie, thank you so much. The homeless crisis expands beyond the capital city. The city of Stockton just declared an emergency as a major homeless shelter gets ready to close. Our Luke Cleary is live in Stockton with the details. Luke, what do we know so far tonight?
Yeah, hey Alex, the city of Stockton said that they got notice that the Stockton Shelter for the homeless would be closing on August 15th. And city manager Harry Black told me that this is now his #1 priority. He told me earlier today that he was shocked when he got that notice by email about 2 weeks ago. Management here was not able to tell us the reason why, although they said it may have had something to do with the financial situation of this place. We are trying to get in touch with the board president to learn more. The city, though, just announcing that emergency measure, they say that allows them to act more quickly and flexibly to find a solution to this problem. And on that, I asked the city manager, could we see the worst case scenario of 250 people turned back out onto the street in a little over 2 weeks? And this is what he said.
That is not an option. That is not an option. Even if I myself have to directly go to the shelter and man the station, it's not going to happen.
The city manager says that the shelter will continue to operate until they are able to make a seamless transition to another operator, potentially St. Mary's Dining Room, which is right here in the area. And if you come back out to me live, it's also worth pointing out that you see the construction happening here behind me, those container buildings. That's actually part of a new navigation center that remains under construction. You can see it's clearly not done. It's behind schedule, and the city manager says that they'll be working on a solution for that too. Alex?
Luke, what are reactions from other homeless organizations in Stockton tonight with this news?
I spoke with a couple of homeless organizations operating here in the city of Stockton. One person telling me that it was just terrible to learn that this place could potentially close. Another told me that maybe this is the kind of shock that the city needs to take the homelessness crisis more seriously. So a range of reactions tonight. We're going to have more for you on this tonight at 11 on Late News Tonight.
All right, Luke, thank you so much. A threatening voicemail was sent to a Black community leader. Black Lives Sacramento posted the voicemail to social media saying it was received in the middle of the night. Here is a picture of that post. The voicemail mentions violence, and Sacramento police detectives are investigating this. Right now, they do not believe the threats in the voicemail are credible. They are asking people who have received similar voicemails to call them. And more law enforcement agencies are warning of an increase in scam calls. Sacramento police say callers are changing their numbers to make it appear as if they are someone from the police department. Sacramento police say if someone calls saying they are law enforcement, make sure you get their name, badge number, and the department they are in. You can confirm the information by calling Sacramento Police's non-emergency line. And just over the weekend, the Stanislaus County Sheriff's Office warned of an increase of scam calls. And there are ways that you can protect your family. Here's Chris Thomas with Stop the Calls.
We estimate that they took probably between $500,000 and $600,000.
Angela Stancic told Congress her grandmother was a victim of robocallers.
It is extremely hard to imagine a loved one committing suicide, but she did. Because these individuals preyed on her and on her good heart.
And those fraudsters also instilled fear, leading to wire transfers, a reverse mortgage, and draining of her life savings.
My grandmother died with $69 in her bank account.
Sadly, the heartbreaking personal costs of robocalls are only increasing.
I get at least 2 or 3 a day.
The financial cost is spiraling too.
The robocalls, you could eventually give up information that can be detrimental to you, your finances.
So how do you stop the calls? Tip number 1, put your number on the Federal Trade Commission's Do Not Call list. Problem is, scanners do not care about the Do Not Call list. So another thing you can do is to hang up as soon as you get a robocall and make sure you block that number.
And that made us wonder, if we got a brand new phone like this one, there you see it still has the plastic on it, surely it would be free from robocalls, right? We decided to let our nationwide investigative team find out.
We bought 17 brand new cell phones spread out in cities all across the country. And most of those phones started getting robocalls weeks or even days after activation. In some cases, without the user ever placing a single call or text. So how is that possible?
It would depend on, probably where that number came from.
Meaning if the number used to belong to someone else and they were on a robocall list, the new phone is on those lists as well. So, tip number 3 to stop the calls, download a robocall blocking app. You can also call your phone carrier and see what spam filters they offer on your network. The FTC is working with the Federal Communications Commission and state attorneys general to try and stop robocallers, even targeting companies that provide the technology used in robocall operations. Problem is, the worst offenders are outside U.S. borders and mostly outside the reach of the FTC.
It is not possible to simply flip a switch and make something happen and make everything stop.
So those are the 3 things you can do. Put your number on the FTC's Do Not Call list, hang up as soon as you get a robocall, make sure you block the number, and download a robo-blocking app, and hopefully those will help stop the call. All right, next on To The Point. Local firefighters head to the front line of California's major fires. Monica.
And we've got a rare double feature in the month of August. 2 supermoons, the first of which is going to appear for tonight. 8% bigger, 16% brighter. It's actually full tomorrow morning at 11:31. And then we get that blue moon by the end of the month. but we've got clouds that are forecast tonight.
And why COVID nasal drops are showing promise.
We're trying to engineer these proteins so that we can infect the nose even better than our present vaccine.
It's wildfire season. Roseville Fire posted this photo saying that their strike team is on the way to help firefighters on the Bonnie fire out in Riverside County. The strike team includes members of ION, the Placer Hills, Forest Hill, and Nevada County. And I want to go ahead and bring in Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods, because as we take a look at this photo right behind us, this is a fire swirl that was in the desert yesterday, and there were some very erratic winds in the Mojave National Preserve.
Yeah, and it's been very hot there as well. So we are going to look at the smoke pattern and see how that is developing. A lot of that smoke is being carried across over the Nevada border. So thankfully, our pattern right now is promoting more of that smoke into the California-Nevada state line here, as you can see, right towards Las Vegas. We've got another fire burning to the north of us, and it has brought us some haziness occasionally, but overall, it's really thinning out as it heads over our region. Typically, this time of year has become the past couple of years. We've had to deal with a lot of smoke in the air during the summer. That hasn't been the case this summer, and our air quality as far as ozone looking to be in the good to moderate range continuing for tomorrow. A lot of that is because of this nice onshore flow will really disperse some of the pollution that just tends to build this time of year, especially with the daytime heat, the access to the sunlight. It actually has that ozone growing during the afternoon. Today's highs were in the 90s up and down the valley through the foothills, and 80s for the Sierra. But a cloud cover, like I said, for tonight of that viewing of our first supermoon of the month, and this is all because of the growing monsoon season that is continuing to bring some showers and thunderstorms throughout portions of Arizona, New Mexico. Enough of that cloud cover to keep Phoenix from reaching above 110 for today, finally breaking that 31-day streak. As far as our future weather for tonight, occasional cloud cover, temperatures dropping into the 80s by 8 p.m., 70s and 60s after that, with our low about 60 degrees. Our sunrise tomorrow at 6:07. Staying mild, though, with a couple of weather systems moving in from the Pacific, and that's going to keep that onshore flow going through our Thursday forecast. In fact, for our midweek outlook, take a look at this. We've got highs in the 80s. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we are back for a short period of time in the 100s by the weekend outlook. Alex.
Thanks, Monica. Next, on to the point. COVID nasal drops are showing promise, preventing infection. Welcome back. And other top stories we're following tonight. 3 people are dead following a crash near Wheatland. This happened last night on Highway 65. The CHP says a car crossed a double yellow line into oncoming traffic. We were there at the scene. A woman in the car that crossed into oncoming traffic died, and a man and a woman in another car died. A third person in that car is hospitalized. A truck carrying 40,000 pounds of chocolate caught fire on I-80 this morning near Colfax. Firefighters say the brakes on the truck overheated. Traffic was backed up for hours as crews tried to clean things up. Sacramento fire crews were busy this weekend putting out fires across the county. Several of them are believed to have been sparked by cigarettes. And this time of year, we know dry brush and hot temperatures make for a very dangerous combination, especially when items nearby that could spark fires like a cigarette, yard equipment, or even a grill.
We've seen so many times where people go, they put steaks on the grill, they leave, they go back inside to do other things, and they come back out and there's an inferno.
Yeah, Captain Parker Wilborn says ash should be disposed of in a metal can and allow them to sit for a few days, because putting them in the trash can can obviously cause a fire. So make sure that they cool down, because hot charcoal will cause a fire. As we talk about fire season, the Biden administration is getting involved. They say the devastating impacts are endless, and they're trying to help prevent future fires with a grant program.
The $1 billion Community Wildfire Defense Grant Program is returning for a second year with one goal: reduce fuels and prevent wildfires.
Across the country, in California and the Southwest, we're seeing hotter and larger fires. And that's why it's more important to work collaboratively and for the long haul to invest in fuels reduction and management of the lands.
The White House's Deputy Secretary of Agriculture says money will go to at-risk communities, tribal and nonprofit organizations.
Lake County had an award recipient, Clear Lake Research location, and what they're trying to do is reduce fuels in the area and work collaboratively across public and private lands to both protect firefighters and also help protect homes.
With insurance companies bailing on California or changing their policies, we asked if grant programs like this could help.
When it comes to insurance, a lot of what gets looked at is what are the maintenance that's being done to reduce fuels reduction. That can have an impact and an additional risk on your home. That's why working collaboratively as a community with tribes and federal land, private land, state and local land helps reduce the fire risk overall.
The grants are provided by the Biden administration. Nonprofit organizations, including homeowners associations, can also apply for these grants. So to see who's eligible and how that funding is awarded, make sure you head to our links mentioned page on To The Point at abc10.com. Big events were held in Northern California this weekend. The state fair came to an end at Cal Expo. Fair staff say that the last weekend was more crowded than the two prior weekends thanks to cooler weather. The last 2 weekends of the fair experienced triple-digit temperatures. And then there's Taylor Swift making billions in the cities that she's performing in. She just wrapped up a 2-night stay in Santa Clara. People were spending at least $1,000 each on things like tickets, hotels, food, merch, and much, much more. For Santa Clara's government, they're calling it a stimulus package.
She's a stimulus package, to all of these cities that she has come to visit.
The concert was announced that it would be at Levi Stadium. The phones rang off the hook at their hotels. No surprise there. All right, remember, concerts were not possible during COVID. While the major COVID threat might have receded, there are still complications. And today, the Biden administration announced a new office to study long COVID response. The office, which will be under the Department of Health and Human Services, is charged with ongoing coordination of the whole of government response to the longer term effects of COVID-19. And the office will look to improve the lives of those who continue to experience the long-term impacts. Nearly 8 million to 23 million Americans are believed to have long COVID. And 69% of the U.S. population is considered fully vaccinated. But now there could be new ways to protect yourself from COVID-19. David Ballman explains.
We've been poked and poked and poked again. In fact, many people now on their 5th COVID-19 vaccine jab.
I received the vaccines that were recommended per the CDC.
But now researchers at Washington University are working on a nasal drop that could be the key to stopping the transmission of the virus before it enters the body. The two main advantages, no needles and that it triggers an immune response in the nose and upper airway, right where the virus enters the body, blocking the infection and breaking the cycle of transmission, unlike the current vaccines.
A systemic injection, like mRNA, will augment antibodies in the blood, not so much in the lung. Airway vaccination, nasal vaccination, augments antibodies in the nose and airways, and that's a better defense.
Without using mRNA, researchers are targeting fiber proteins on the virus.
We're trying to engineer these proteins so that we can infect the nose even better than our present vaccine.
It's the world's first intranasal vaccine approved in India as both a primary vaccine for COVID-19 and a booster. Defense against COVID with a drop instead of a jab.
And scientists are looking into skin patches, which are little microneedles in a patch that could be administered by people at home, and it would not require cold storage. Still ahead, a national night out. We always like to end the show with what we're working on for tomorrow. And tomorrow we are talking about sports, esports, okay? So we're catching up with Sacramento State's esports team. Esports is becoming a booming business. Revenue is estimated to reach $3 billion with a B. And the number of esports viewers globally is expected to grow to more than 640 million people. Colleges are even offering degrees on how to manage esports teams. And tomorrow night is National Night Out. Every first Tuesday of August, neighborhoods and law enforcement across the country get together to connect and strengthen communities. And this is video from last year. Events were held in local parks. Many come together to enjoy free food, games, live music, safety exhibitions, and more. Some events happening in our area include a pool party out in Del Paso Heights. There will be free barbecue, Kona ice, face painting, and more. That's from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Grant High School. And then a big event is happening at Memorial Park over in Grass Valley. Live music, free food, kids games, a fire and police exhibit starts at 6 p.m. and you can even adopt a pet. So we want to, of course, see your National Night Out picture. So tell us what's going on in your community. Don't forget to reach out to me and the team. You can always shoot me an email at tothepoint@abc10.com. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow. Hey, it's Alex. Just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I really love hearing from everyone, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. Reach out to me on Facebook at AlexBellTV, or you can email me at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send me a text message at 916-321-3310.